launch control with Lea.
With closed eyes, maybe.
Today we're driving the new Porsche King, the updated Porsche 911 Turbo S. We have it for you as the Coupe and the convertible, and now with this so-called T-hybrid. What exactly is it? How good does it drive on the racetrack and also on the countryside roads, including performance, launch control and everything you need to know with Thomas Fuel in 4K, full screen, full length. Let's go here in ice gray. We have the convertible here first, later on again the Coupe, and we have a new updated lower part here with adaptive air intakes. At the moment they are open. Also a very sleek lower bumper as well. Standard HD matrix LED here now, and the length slightly changed due to the spoilers, 4.55 meters or 179 inches. Standard 20-inch in the front from the wheels, 21-inch in the rear. Also the ceramic brakes, and they are the biggest ceramic brakes ever used on a Porsche two-door vehicle now. And you can see here already the sticker T-hybrid. What exactly does it mean? So you have the combustion engine, 3.6 liter 6-cylinder flat engine, together with one electric motor and two electric turbochargers. So overall now at 711 horsepower, 61 horsepower more than before. 2.5 seconds for the Coupe, 0 to 100 kilometers an hour or 60 miles an hour, and 8.4 seconds to 200 kilometers an hour or 125 miles an hour. Here the convertible would be 0.1 seconds slower in the 100 acceleration figure and 0.4 seconds slower in the 200 acceleration figure, but still, upgraded if you compare it to the previous version. And now the most important thing is this 800 Newton meters of torque you can use between 2,300 and 6,000 RPM, so a wide spectrum where you can actually use that. This one will change the performance and the driving behavior massively. Also massive rear wing. This one can also be retracted depending on the speed or the driving mode, or also individually from the interior of the vehicle. And the only thing that moves is here the service flap, and interesting that it's electric in the convertible, here also for fluids and so on. And it would be a manual service flap then in the Coupe. There we go. But you can always see from the exterior that the convertible really pretty much looks like the Coupe, so they kept the sleek roofline. But of course, visually, I always prefer the Coupe somewhat, but I'm just a convertible lover and I like to drive with open top. Also updated rear light strip here. It looks very sleek, and also the Porsche lettering, very embossed, three-dimensional. Lower part also updated, and now titanium exhaust. Well, when you look on the inside, you can see also the open flap and so on. So that looks very interesting. The outer tip is of course just a tip, but still is one titanium part. So we're also looking forward to how it actually will sound. And then you might ask yourself, with this hybrid system, isn't the car too heavy? The overall surplus in weight is 85 kilograms only, so not too much. So still at 1,710 kilograms. For the Coupe, the convertible is a little bit heavier, but it will not affect the driving. At least, that's more like a passenger, more or less, So this is also the concept, that the car still is remaining like this in 911 lightweight philosophy. And by the way, the all-wheel drive system, standard also with this vehicle, maximum of 25% of power goes to the front wheels. Most of the time when you only really hit it completely on the throttle, still like the rear wheel bias is the predominant thing. And also suspension is very interesting. Standard PASM adaptive suspension, optionally also with a lower 10mm lower and stiffer setup. Then you also have PDCC, or here it's called EHPDCC, so electro-hydraulic Porsche dynamic chassis control. This is like a hydraulic anti-tilt system. The car is staying upright all the time. And rear exit steering, 2 degrees in the opposite direction, the rear wheels. So this is all standard. but of course the price is very high, more on that later. And did you know that a set of wipers both together weigh about 1.5 kilograms? However, these only have a weight of 600 grams because they are from carbon fiber, and for a first time in the automotive industry they are available for a vehicle that costs less than €1,000,000. That's cheap, right? So this is also again an extra. They look of course pretty cool in this carbon fiber style, and yeah, so much weight savings when you have 600 gram less, evening out maybe this 85 kilograms more from the hybrid system, right? And this is here also the Kupe. 2/3 of all customers decide for the Kupe version, and while I love the convertible, I gotta say, especially in this combination, really looks striking. This is Lugano blue, a little bit old school retro blue, I would say, and also with these retro wheels here. I really love them. You can see the yellow contrast even better from the carbon ceramic brakes. There we go. And yeah, the Kupe has, you know, an even more floaty line here, really wide hips. And yes, the 911 Turbo S together with the GT3 RS, these two versions are the only ones that get the wider body kit. You can see it both in the rear and in the front. This specific vehicle here, by the way, is also equipped with the carbon fiber roof. This brings down the weight a little bit, you know, especially on top of the vehicle. And as it stands here right now, this vehicle we will also take on the Ascari racetrack in Spain. You've seen some of the preview here very early in the video. This will be a lot of fun, and of course with a launch control.
Hi, best greetings here from Lea. I show you now how to close the front properly, because it's always a huge discussion how to close it without fingerprints or something. So now I show it to you. The Porsche crest here in turbinite. I can open it with the key fob. Here's the button. Ah, nice sound. And oh, and also a trolley fits in. 40 centimeters and 16-inch deep. So now I show you how to close it. First step is that, and then press here because it's the strongest part. Leaves no fingerprints and officially confirmed by Porsche.
Now towards the interior, here also with the turbinite color on the key fob, and then when you open the vehicle, door handles here come towards you, otherwise they are flush integrated here. When they are open, they still move like this. It always feels a little bit weird, I'm gonna say that. Ooh, I mean, these are, Lea is also like, and she's right, because these are frameless doors, and it's very rare that when they are frameless doors and you slam them, ooh, they make this awesome sound. So that is well done. Then inside of the doors, everything wrapped tightly. Here also with carbon fiber interior. Different colors are available. Of course, you do not have to go for the red one. Tiny pockets, but they are covered with felt on the inside at least. And here, nice clicking sound also from the window levers, for example. Turbo S entry badge right there. And then here you open the trunk or the service flap in the rear. Steering wheel with the typical drive mode selector. Also the boost button in the middle part. Real buttons at the steering wheel here. Volume jog, for example, so that's easy to control. Seats, there are of course different ones available depending on how much you will be able to adjust them. Here, shoulder support. Most of the seats are animal leather only. I would wish that Porsche also offers some high-grade leatherette. The only thing they offer with less animal skin is they have this retro fabric available, which looks actually quite cool and really reminds of past 911 models, and it would also be a little bit more breathable from the seating. And then here with 189, 6'2", still enough headroom left. So not much difference between the convertible and the Kupe. Also these like modern soft tops, they are, you know, they are really stiff and they also insulate very well. You might only hear a difference at super high speeds or something like that. But indeed, I think they managed that Kupe and convertible come very close. All right, then let's open the roof. There you can see the spectacular effect, and goes really quickly, and you can also do it at least to a speed of 50 kilometers an hour, and usually it even works more than that. Oh, by the way, of course, I can also put the the rear windows higher as well. So this would be the anti-wind position. And of course here I can also add the wind deflector electronically. This is a very, very cool feature, isn't it? So practical, and still you get a real proper large wind deflector, and you can just put it away when you want to load stuff on the rear bench. For people, yeah, maybe if this one is all the way forward, then maybe someone in the rear. Other than that, you have ISOFIX there in the back, or of course you can put these one here both down, and then you can store some bags on there without damaging the seats or so. So this is a practical feature. The convertible, you can also lower all the windows now again, that Lea can better film that. Gotta say though, these are the two buttons for the front windows, and then I have to press this one to control the rear ones, although this is like a blind button. So why not just putting rear right and rear left individually there? I don't get it. And in my Audi S5, by the way, I also have like one additional button to like raise or lower all at the same time with one button. So as for the convertible, this would be standard. The coupe, so also you can just choose, you know, if you want this 2+2 seater or if you only want the 2-seater, so that's up to you. Here we've also picked the convertible to show you the interior because, you know, we have more light than here. Everything again with the horizontal stress, Turbo S badge here. Then we have some cup holders here on the right side. Glove box also smooth in the folding down, pretty tiny of course. Here the analog clock, this is also the most classic thing here in that interior. I love that. At the same time you have modern infotainment system here. This is also the car internal GPS. You can also click that through right here. This is all the car control. For example, here you can also change the spoiler then, what we've done earlier on the exterior. PDCC, that's this dynamic chassis control, so with the hydraulic anti-tilt, or here for more exhaust boost and so on. This is the lift function for the front. So now the front is raising if you're going down steep basement garage. And this one actually also has a GPS save. So for example, when I'm always going into my basement garage at the same position, most obviously, then it can be saved actually. And when I approach the basement garage the next time in front of the ramp, the car is automatically lifting. So that's a very handy feature indeed.
Oh, nice.
No, it was a nice 4 Series convertible as well. So that's a convertible time here today. So lowering is not possible when the door is opened. Interesting. So it will only lower when the door will be closed. Here in the middle console, what I like is here real clicking sounds for the climate unit, metal knurling on top. I love that. And also when you hear turn everything, you have the quality feedback. Brown shaver design for the shifting lever. It's always a funny thing. And also the buttons here for the roof and so on. Always a nice clicking sound no matter what you do. Oh, the music went on. Cup holder in the middle part. This one is not adaptive though. Yeah, but again, real buttons, seat cooling, seat heating, and you really have to press them properly. And I really love that feedback. Then the armrest. So they've updated that. Here there's 2 USB-C chargers, inductive charging pad, also with ventilation right there. Here it says like this, the card for the vehicle with the QR code. Eisgrau metallic it is, by the way, in German, this ice gray metallic. So this manual interface, also here with the shifting levers, this is the most special thing here about the interior. And yeah, you do not have manual gauges here anymore, all digital instruments. However, they still look quite cool. This is what I mean, because in the central part you always have the RPM meter, digital analog style, so to speak, but you're of course more flexible also with the map. Sport Plus. Welcome to the Porsche 911 Turbo S. I knew this one gets the Lea meter going. I just knew it. Yeah, it has to. It just has to. Whew. Yeah, I mean, sound, you can argue about that. It's not like a puristic, naturally aspirated V8 sound. You have this flat engine now with the electric motor and the 2 electric turbochargers. It sounds a little bit thin in comparison, but it still sounds loud, and you have like this, you know something is happening. And that's actually for the passenger quite good. that you know that something is happening.
Yeah.
Yeah, with the pure electric vehicle, sometimes you have the quick acceleration, but then even if you have like this spaceship sound or something, it's still something different, you know. We do also soon some winding corners. Then later we hop to the Coupe and drive on the racetrack, even more agile. But first of all, here most of the time you will drive it in everyday driving life. Here when going downhill, being on the brake. It's, by the way, also recuperation happening, so we get something more back to the high voltage battery. So that's also of course useful. It's always going back and forth, basically. You have driving modes available here. Normal, Sport, Sport Plus. Wet mode would also be possible. So there's a lot of rain and you want to be safe that you don't exaggerate it. You can also just take it in the wet mode. In the Sport mode already, see this combination in here. Then the exhaust button is also red. That means like the exhaust note is like the valve goes open. And have a little bit more feedback from the sound. And in the Sport Plus mode, the PDCC is activated, this anti-tilt control, and also the adaptive suspension gets a little bit stiffer. So even when I'm driving it normally in the Sport Plus mode, it's really, really, really stiff. And yeah, in the normal mode or the wet mode, you have a little bit more forgiving suspension. If you should go for this additional sports PSM, I would say rather not, because the car is stiff itself already, you know. Yeah, but that's just a matter of preference. The biggest difference here now with the e-hybrid system, we know it also from the GTS, is when you slightly press the throttle. Usually we know from combustion engine it takes a while until there's something happening, but here there's just a more spontaneous input, even if you are just slightly on the throttle, even in the normal mode. And of course, even more so in the Sport Plus mode. Also tells me, by the way, that the spoiler is extended then. And in the Sport Plus mode, there's directly something happening when you hit the throttle. So that's the thing. RPMs are also then stressed before that. And when I see that Lea is maybe like getting tired or something, then I can at any time just give it some, you know, push on the throttle. And she's directly awake again.
It's fun.
That's a good point, yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It's not heavy or that you're like, ugh. So it's easy and yeah.
So, yeah, there's a good point from Lea that sometimes when you are in really, really quick vehicles, the passengers are more like, oh. But here, since you sit so low and the car is so stiff, and you have this feedback from the sound, you can prepare basically as a passenger, and then you're actually fine, you know. So it's also a fun sports car for the passenger. And of course, it's time to drive open top, then you can hear even more about what the car is doing. Nice. Yeah, and I mean, it so hooks to the ground here, even as the convertibles. It's really incredible. And I mean, no matter how fast you drive, you always feel like you would be driving slow, actually. We have put up all the windows and also this wind deflector. Let's see how quick we can drive comfortably. It's also very interesting. Let's see here, one more acceleration uphill. It's like you don't feel that you would be driving uphill at all. That's the thing. We're now driving 80 kilometers an hour. Yeah, so like 50 miles an hour, 40, 50 miles an hour, something like that. And well, there is some wind sound behind us, but still it's very comfortable here. Always looking at Lea's hair as well. I mean, you know, she has tucked them together a little bit, but because there's always this discussion, you know, when the men want to drive open top, you know, and the girls then say like, you know, but my hair, I just made my hair, you know, like, so it's getting, you know, everything is, I mean, there's not too much wind turbulence in here.
Yeah, it's loud.
It's loud,
Yeah.
it's just loud. Yeah, not so much like wind that it would be like uncomfortable to what you feel, but at around 100 kilometers an hour, 60 miles an hour, it's just a little bit loud from the rear. but that's about it. But I think due to this large wind deflector, this is a convertible that you can also drive comfortably open top at some higher speeds. Maybe these convertibles like BMW 4 Series, Audi A5 and so on, they have better like wind features, so to speak. But this one is already quite decent, and very important to know, it will always be better than the Targa version. The Targa version will be louder, and there will also be more wind turbulence in here. Of course, when it's really, really hot and you may be driving at slower speeds, you maybe put everything down and wind deflector closed and you just use it for cruising and stuff. Launch control with Lea.
With closed eyes, maybe.
Oh, yeah, that's the 911 Turbo S with the Lea meter. That was already 160 kilometers an hour. Yeah, so Lea gets the free roller coaster ride here today, the Porsche roller coaster. And we have some sectors of the racetrack. Wow, it's just driving so smooth. That's incredible, and just comes like nothing. It was almost 200 kilometers an hour, 125 miles an hour. Almost reached that just on this very short straight. And yeah, this is the thing about this new T hybrid. It just goes and goes and goes. It's just like you have power always, like in any situation. It's just there. So even if you're like already at 120 kilometers an hour or something, here's now a very interesting S-bend here. Really cool, playing with the G-forces. Lea is having so much fun, I see everything.
That's so cool.
And she was so afraid before.
Yeah.
Really nice. Look at the steering, like how smooth it is actually. And even now, when I'm pinning it down, at 130 kilometers an hour, there's still like you still get like a sudden boost of power. That is like amazing. Look at also how calm I am on the steering wheel, so I hardly have to move it much. There we go. It's really so much fun. And the most astonishing thing is, I mean, I've been driving this racetrack here with so many different vehicles. This is probably the most effortless one. It will be probably the quickest one for a normal customer, but I mean, yeah, of course you have to be concentrated and everything. But it's incredible how effortless it's driving. You know, I've been here with a couple of other vehicles and I was like really working the vehicle and so on. But this is here, it's almost like you are in a simulator, and it's crazy, you know, like it's so smooth and effortless at the same time. You can drive so quick here on that racetrack. Wow, that is really an amazing thing. Really good feeling also for the brakes. You know, the ceramic brakes also don't have any fading effect. They always stay the same basically. That's also pretty cool. And yeah, I think when you look at the video footage here, you know, how much fun Lea is having and how smooth it is, how little I do with the steering wheel and the throttle, like minimum movement of the body, and that really speaks for how smooth it is. And wow, just can say wow. Yeah, and when you doubt the T hybrid concept, here it's like proof of concept, because you have so much power. At the same time, the weight is being kept low, so you don't have any extra weight. Yeah. Okay, like 85 kilograms of extra weight, but you don't feel that extra weight. That's the thing, you know.
You're not getting sick. It's so crazy.
It's crazy, right?
It's crazy. It's just fun. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, as a passenger, you tend to get sick, especially like while racing. And yeah, that Lea doesn't get sick, but just has fun, really speaks for it. One more launch control, maybe. What about it? One more time.
Yeah.
Maybe we can hear the sound, or maybe Lea will scream again. Let's see. Yeah, and you can repeat it just like over and over again, and yeah, wow, what a fun race machine here, definitely. So what's the catch? Yeah, definitely the price very soon. And one thing I really gotta say, at least for me, I found these seats very uncomfortable. So now when driving agile, lower back pain, and also like driving long term, I would not take it as a long-term cruiser or something like that. That's for me, you know, you gotta try it yourself. I would recommend just visit a Porsche dealer and then check out the seats, because seating-wise, I'm more the Panamera or the Cayenne guy. So if you're now interested, you need at least 270,000 euros for the Coupe, 285,000 euros for the convertible without any extras. If you now fancy having these carbon fiber wipers and much other stuff, of course, you more move towards 300,000 and so on. It is the Porsche supercar. It drives phenomenally once again. And so to speak, from the hybrid system, you get closest to the acceleration behavior of an electric vehicle, yet at the same time you stay lower with the weight, at least in comparison to the electric vehicles that have large battery. You know, that is also the Audi Concept C coming up there with a distinctive name, which will be the sister model of the Porsche 718 in the electric version. They will have approximately the same weight like here the 911, but be electric, not too large battery. And we've recently already driven the Audi Concept C, again the sister model of the Porsche 718, the new models, Coupe, convertible and so on. And you should check this video out now, or maybe some more distinctive Porsche content.